Hello, my friend, and welcome back to my podcast, Challenge Your Norm, where challenge your norm in order to become more fulfilled and happy and joyful and just to grow within different areas that we want to grow and develop within. And today, I'm going to talk about how I have challenged my norm lately. I am currently on my second day in Mexico, in Tulum, because I've decided to become a digital nomad for a little bit. My entire life have had this little bit of a dream of just traveling around and working from anywhere and just being able to be creative every single day, waking up and just doing that from different places in the world that I love. And I'm doing it now. And I want to talk to you about the journey because a lot has happened this last year. I was married a year ago, and a year ago today, I had no idea, no clue what was in store for me. And it ended up taking a massive turn. So let's think back. At this time last year, I was in the marriage and we were having different issues. We were both loving towards each other. It was a good relationship. He is an amazing guy, but we were starting to realize our differences. We got married super early. And we were crazy in love, and we took the chance of getting married really early. I was either having to get a new visa or we were just going to get married and, we could live together for the rest of our lives. And we thought that was a great idea. And I have no regrets. I really do not regret it, regardless of how it ended. I am so grateful for the years that I got to spend with this incredible guy. But last year at this time, we started to realize that we wanted different things in life. And I'll probably make a podcast episode on this longer at another point, but right now let's just go through the basics. We went to couples therapy. It was good, but we still realized that we didn't really enjoy doing the same things on a daily basis, but also just long term, our vision for the future was just very different. And I think when we were both crazy in love, it felt we could work it out. We can, we kind of want the same thing, but then once it hit reality, it was okay, this is not good. We got to figure this out. And then moving forward a few months, we were still working on these things. And then as we went to, I think it was November, we both realized that this is not going to work. And it is such a mix of emotions when you've committed your life to be with someone and then suddenly all plans you thought for the future changes. So it was kind of like a turbulent mix of emotions. But in December, I then end up going to a retreat in Sri Lanka with my mom. And then when I came back, I moved into my friend's apartment while I was finding a new place to live. And so I stayed in my friend's apartment for a month, and then I moved into my new apartment, which I love. And I thought that was the normal thing to do, right? When you move out of one place, you move into another place. And I hadn't thought of hey, now that I'm a free bird, let me just travel the world. I always have said that one day maybe I'm gonna do, but I didn't do that. I moved into my new apartment and I enjoyed my time there. I wanted a space where I could just create every day, and that is what I did. But I had kind of thought that my life in LA would be the same as my life was before I met my ex, because when I lived in LA before, I was mostly dancing and doing modeling jobs, and every time I had a job, it was out of the house. So I would meet people constantly and I would take dance classes all the time. But when I came back here now, after a few years away, I have created a life where I work from home. Everything's on my computer and it's just creating. So I ended up being alone a lot in my apartment, and I am a massive introvert. I love, love, love being alone, but I also just can't spend my entire life alone. And I'm so passionate about what I do. So me being okay, let me just take tomorrow off and hang out with some friends. That's not really a place that my mind just will naturally go to. So I just ended up spending a lot of time alone. And I had and I enjoyed it. I love doing what I do. I love being creative and being alone. Otherwise, could have just seeked it, right? I could have just gone out and spent some time with some friends. The thing is, during COVID, a lot of people moved back home. So a lot of the closer relationships I had before I moved away, a lot of those people weren't there anymore. So I would have to obviously go to events and go to places where I could meet new people. And I just didn't seek it. I didn't make an effort to do that. But I think also at the same time, these small little whispers in my mind started to pop up saying that I should travel and connect with different people from around the world that I know maybe on more of like a internet basis, but that I haven't actually met in person that I really would love to meet and spend some time with. And I should travel and I should do this job from anywhere. But naturally, my brain went to, oh, but you just signed this lease and oh, that's probably going to be crazy expensive. And you probably have to like stay in the US so that you could keep up with the brand deals. Like, all the excuses that pop up in our heads when we get this idea to do something that's outside of our norm. So it took me months to kind of like play around with the idea, and I didn't really think much of it. I just knew that I had this little voice in my head saying that I maybe should do it. And eventually I decided, okay, let me just give this a try. And my brother and I decided to travel around Europe. And after that trip, I was like, okay, this could actually be a thing. And I figured something out with my apartment, and I took the risk of like, let's just give it a try. Let's just give it a try for a little bit. And now I'm in Mexico for the second day. I've been in Europe for about a month, and then I was home in LA for about 2 days, and now I am in Mexico. And I'm here with my friend Alessandra, and afterwards I'm going to New York, where I'm meeting my friend Betty. And then after that, I have no idea what I'm gonna do. So it's kind of exciting. I feel like I'm definitely challenging my norm right now. I'm just realizing it's only been like 6 minutes. I literally just finished all the points that I had made that I wanted to chat about in this podcast. And I thought it was going to be like a 30-minute episode. And I can see that I've just been speaking so fast, rushing through all of this, that it definitely will not be. But my point of all of this is that every single great thing in my life, I talked about this on the other episodes as well, if you've listened to those, that everything in my life comes from when I challenge my norm. That's also why that's what I wanted to call this episode, is challenge your norm, because every great thing in my life has happened when I get this little whisper in my brain, and that I then actually act upon it. It was a little whisper in my head that told me that you should travel to LA and just check it out. And then I ended up going there. And even though I had so much fear and, am I going to make any friends? Like, is this a good idea? I'm just realizing that my AC has been on this entire time, and I'm making a podcast episode. And when you make a podcast episode, you're supposed to create peace and quiet, but I guess you're going to be able to hear a little bit of air conditioning in the background. I'm sorry about that. I'm new to this podcast thing, so I hope you can bear with me. But what I was saying is that me moving to LA was like a little voice in my head, and then I challenged my norm, as in I went to LA and just gave it a shot, and I ended up, I've been living in the US for 7 years now, I think. It was also a little voice that told me, oh, you should start a separate Instagram account where you share workout tips. And that's why I started my Workout with Pernilla Instagram profile back in the day, which is my current Instagram today. And once I did that and was consistent with it, I started getting this little voice in my head saying, oh, you should also start a YouTube channel. And then I challenged my norm and fear of judgment and started doing that. And the same with TikTok. And now with podcasting, it's these little voices that are talking to me saying that I should challenge my norm and do these little steps that really create the life that I live today. And I know for a fact it's the same with you. Like, whatever little voices have told you to start and do these little things, it's when you take action on it that you actually can see a change in your life. And that is what I wanted for this to be as well. With this digital nomad life, like, I don't know if I'm going to enjoy it. I don't know if this is something I want to do long term, or if it's just for these like 3.5 months that I've planned right now. But regardless, if I didn't do it, then I would never know what it could lead to. And so I guess all of that just to say that if you have a little voice saying that you should try something and challenge your norm, then I really want you to do it, because we never know what it could lead to. And I think that regardless of what it leads to, we always, when we challenge our norm and we step outside of what we originally would have done, we're going to learn something from it, good or bad. And sometimes the bad is the best. Like, the bad things that have happened in my life really are the things that have helped me grow into who I am proud to be today. And I'm sure, and I know for a fact it's the same with you. The challenges you've dealt with in your life have made you and helped you become who you are today, and helped you develop the strength that you have to go out and pursue the things that you're pursuing in your life. And I just think that's beautiful. And if we can remind ourselves of that when the fear steps in, when we've heard this little voice, when we've kind of had a feeling that, ooh, maybe I should challenge this norm, if we remind ourselves that the challenge in the fear and the laziness, overcoming that is really what makes us the best, most wise humans that we can be. And that is beautiful. I just felt like sharing a little bit of that with you this morning as I'm sitting here in my Mexican bed about to go to the gym. I'm going to go to something called the Jungle Gym. It's literally a gym that is made of like wood and just like a jungle gym, if you can imagine that. I'm going to post a lot on my Instagram probably and on my YouTube as well if you want to see what I'm talking about, like in a more visual sense. But that's what I'm about to do. And now I'm feeling hyped. I'm feeling good. I'm ready for the day. I hope you are too. And that you hopefully today take action on one of those whispers. You never know what's going to come from it. And like we said, when we challenge our norm, we grow into the humans that we want to become. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you again soon. Or I guess we will chat soon. If you feel that anything I shared today was a little bit valuable or useful, please share it with a friend or on social media or something so someone else hopefully could get a little bit out of it as well. And subscribe. That would be awesome. I'm new on this platform and I would love to grow it and reach more people. I appreciate you listening so much. And I hope you have a beautiful day.